Hey everyone, this is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich, keeping an eye on our investigation area 98. It's a disturbed area that's moving from Bermuda back towards the west that could, in combination with a front, bring some rain to parts of eastern North Carolina. Obviously, we don't need any more rain anywhere near the Carolinas, at least for another maybe week or two, as we start to dry out. Just any rain at all would be a big issue. Let me show you where the system is right now. You can see this is the visible satellite image, and you can see the system swirling off the southeast coast right there. But also notice how wedged in we are. We've got low clouds, a fog, drizzle, mist, kind of a cool day, first autumn-like day that we've had in quite some time. I'm going to show you another view here with the radar and the satellite together, and you can see all the showers back towards the west. There is a stalled front to our west. It's kind of a slow-moving front, and then we've got a backdoor front which has made it down to Columbia. So right now, this is not having much of an influence on us. This rain is probably going to be more of an influence as it pushes to the east. We'll have to see if it interacts with the moisture from this system to potentially cause some rain. Let me show you real quickly the steering currents for this thing, because if you look at the water vapor loop, you can see a trough coming down. So this is a little bit of good news and why we don't think the system's going to make it too much further west. You see this trough digging in over the western U.S. There's also some strong southwesterly winds. So as this thing gets closer to the coast, two things happen. It gets sheared by that strong southwest wind, but it would also get steered up to the northeast. So this is not going to make a direct impact. It's likely going to brush eastern North Carolina, primarily the Outer Banks. And also notice the amount of dry air around it. Even though there's been a good explosion of storms today, there is still a lot of dry air on it. So there's a lot of factors that go against this from strengthening much. The question is timing. How close is it going to get to the coast before it makes that churn? And the concern, obviously, all this is not wind or surge, it's rainfall. You see the spaghetti plots all bring a close call for eastern North Carolina. So this is going to make an approach right in here. Now, it's not going to be strong. It'll be a weak system. We're worried about the rainfall that this is going to bring. So let me show you what it looks like as far as the future cast goes. So we'll start putting this into the future here. You can see the stalled front kind of sitting to our west and waves of light rain. And notice the showers associated with this investigation area that's kind of spinning right there. Could develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm, especially as it approaches the Gulf Stream. Notice as we get closer to tomorrow afternoon, we're getting into about lunchtime tomorrow, we're starting to see some showers break out in eastern North Carolina. A lot of drizzle and mist back here, but it's these showers to the east we have to watch. You see the moisture clipping the eastern part of the state. Not overwhelming. You notice as most of the energy and moisture stays offshore, the thing that helps is that trough. Look at this cold front approaching from the west. You actually start to see it develop here that starts to pick it up and push it off to the northeast. So even though it looks like it's going to be a close call, regardless of what happens, it's not going to be there very long because this front comes in and starts to push it out to the east. And you can see the rain stays mainly offshore. So let's go back real quickly and I'll show you kind of briefly. If I could back it up here, we'll go one more time. We'll play this forward and you can see the close call and then spinning out. So there will be scattered showers in eastern North Carolina, but right now we're not looking at anything too widespread. So let me show you some of the potential rainfall impacts. So let's look at some of this potential rainfall. So here's the next 24 hours, next 48 hours. We'll go 72 hours. We'll go 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. So over the next 7 days, these aren't off the chart amounts, but right in here, you see the corridor of rain. And also notice where we got that stalled front sitting right in here. So those are the two things to watch, the interaction of that stalled front and the moisture. The good news, this is all moving. None of this is stalling like we saw with previous fronts and the Joaquin flooding, Matthew, Florence. Things aren't slowing down. The atmosphere is finally moving. So even though there is rain in the forecast, it is not going to be one of those stalled out systems. But again, 1 to maybe 2 inches of rain possible in some of these heavier bands could cause additional issues, at least cause things to level off and probably not drop as quickly in eastern North Carolina. Of course, I'll be keeping an eye on this. If the system does get a name, it is going to be the M name, which will be Michael. This would be Michael if it gets a name. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's got to be a tropical depression first. We'll see. I think it's getting close there today. The thunderstorm's definitely flaring up. But we'll have to see how it survives. The interesting thing is how cool it is today for the Carolinas as we're wedged in. We've got that northeast wind, the low clouds, the fog, the drizzle. So it actually feels like a little bit of autumn today, and that will deter any big thunderstorms. We're looking at mainly mist or drizzle until that system gets closer. We'll keep an eye on it throughout the week. Wednesday looks to be the peak day if we're going to see some heavy rainfall. So folks in eastern North Carolina, we're still thinking about you, praying for you, and we are going to keep an eye on the system as we go through the middle of the week.